Boys and girls, every day after our whole group instruction, we will have daily independent reading. While most of you are reading independently, I will work with small groups of students at the reading table in the back of the room. Let me explain what daily independent reading is all about in second grade and why it's important. You get to select your own books or texts to read. You may select them from our reading library. If there are specific selections I need you to choose from, I will direct you to them at the beginning of the selection time. This is an important part of your reading instruction each day. This is a chance for you to practice the skills we have learned during whole group instruction and to become independent as you read and apply skills we have learned. You will look at text in many different ways. Your independent reading time will help you become good readers, learn information from the books you read, and learn to really enjoy reading on your own. Since I will be working with students at the reading table, I will not be available to you at this time. If you have a question or need help, you may ask another student or jot your question down on a post-it to ask me later. Our independent reading time is structured to help you learn different ways to think about what you read when you're reading on your own. This is an overview of the processes and strategies we will be considering and applying as we read independently each day. We will only focus on one process and strategy per day. We're going to look at engagement and identity, stamina, and independence. Let's look at engagement and identity first. It is important that you enjoy what you read and that it is a just right text for you to read independently. So it will be important for you to look at the pictures and title to make sure your selection is a book that looks interesting to you. Think about what you like to read. Do you like stories that are real or imaginary? Do the pictures look interesting to you? Next, you will want to look at a couple of pages to make sure the text is right for you to read independently. We've talked about the 5-finger rule. If you look at a page of print and hold up one finger for each word you don't know or are unsure of, if you hold up 5 fingers, the book is probably too hard for you to read independently. Selecting the right text is very important. If you select the right book, you will probably engage with the text and identify with the subjects you're reading about and learn from the text and enjoy your reading too. If I ask you to focus on stamina, what I mean is this. Stamina means you can read and stay interested in what you're reading for longer periods of time. If I'm at the reading table and look up, I would hope to see you reading. If you're looking around the room and not paying attention to what you're reading, that would mean that you do not have stamina to stay focused on the text. We want your reading stamina to grow and for you to be able to read longer and more difficult text with increased focus throughout the year. Independence. Independent reading means that you read independently without help. While you might need help from time to time, if you have selected a just right book for your ability to read by yourself without asking for help, you should not have to ask for help on every single word. We have to learn to try to figure out words on our own without asking for help immediately. That doesn't mean skipping words you don't know. It means using your strategies for word recognition to try different ways to unlock the text. So the processes we will focus on during independent reading are engagement and identity, stamina, and independence. Now, let's look at the strategies that we will focus on during our independent reading time. Some days we will focus on word knowledge, and another day we might focus on decoding and word recognition. We might focus on fluency or comprehension or critical thinking. We've got 5 areas that we're going to look at. Let's look at word knowledge first. You will learn many new and interesting words as you read. You might encounter some of our vocabulary words in your independent reading. You might have to reread text to get the meaning of new and unfamiliar words. You might need to write down some new and interesting words to find out more about them or to share them with us to put on our word wall. For decoding and word recognition, you're going to find many decodable words and sight words as you read. You will want to make sure you use what you know about sounds to sound out words with letter patterns you recognize. Sight words are the words you should recognize instantly. Fluency. You will want to make sure you reread text enough to read with appropriate pacing and to read with expression and proper phrasing. As we practice fluency throughout the year, you will be able to gauge your ability to read fluently during independent reading. The next two strategies that I want to talk to you about relate to close reading. You know, in close reading, you really pay attention to the meaning of the text and reread anything you don't understand. You go back and read text again to gain deeper meaning from what you've read. Let's look at comprehension. In comprehension, you're going to ask yourself questions about your understanding of the story as you read. Do you understand what the author's trying to tell you? Do you know who the characters are and what the story's all about? Can you retell the story to include the beginning, main events, and the ending? We'll also focus on critical thinking. As you read, critically, you will ask yourself more questions about the text. As you think about the story, you'll make connections to what you already know. You'll form opinions and support your ideas from what you've read in the text. It sounds like a lot, but remember, we only focus on one process and one strategy per day. Our processes are engagement and identity, stamina and independence. Our strategies are word knowledge, decoding and word recognition, fluency, comprehension, and critical thinking. If we do our independent reading with the purpose of strengthening our reading processes and strategies, we will become great readers. We will learn so much from our reading and enjoy reading too. We will choose to read rather than do other things when we have extra time.